3 decades ago, in the reign of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies a mile below the surface. It was dreadfully inconvenient for everyone, but it opened the great black ocean to you. Welcome to the Underzee, and welcome to my first video in this series. This is a Grinning Viking. My friends call me Grin. I'm a little bit of a rambling man, but let's try to get on with it for now, and you could hear me talk about game mechanics, my life, and things like that later on. Start by choosing a pass. I tend to go with Poet. That's not because it's necessarily the best choice mechanically, but because there's a couple challenges if you have just the Poet starting pages, you can pass no problem, and because it's hard to get pages up later. It's easy to get up other stuff. Wise soul. Experience? You have intuition. And your friend, the Sly Navigator, he's a little vague. He probably knows what he's doing. You're going to find someone better, eventually, because he's horrible. I just corrected that text. I played the game before. Start out with pretty good pages, which is knowledge, trickery. We're not good at noticing things like healing, morale, sneaking. Sneaking fails is actually really good. Maybe I should have gone for that, but look for that. It's easy to get that up. And iron, destroy things. Late game is going to be important. Earlier on, it's kind of like, maybe I want to avoid fighting. Almost all costs. What is their goal going to be? Let's pick, we're looking for a father's bones. Father was lost at sea. You never knew him. We've often dreamed of him. Find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. Filming and wealth that just go everywhere, see everything, make a lot of money. Your father's bones, closest thing you can find a storyline. And a private kingdom. Impossible. Establish a colony where you're absolute ruler. Utopia, perhaps. And it just says, not yet available, will be someday. We'll see. There's a big expansion for this coming out soon. I'm really looking forward to that. I figured I'd get some playing in first. And I don't actually know everything about the game yet, but I'm looking forward to figuring it out. I like figuring out mechanics, storyline. Best way to sort of go about making money in a game like this. And getting the big quest done, like the Father's Bones one. We're gonna find where he fell and bring him home. Always Captain. That's how we want to be addressed. Last piece of advice. Explore, take chances. This captain will probably die. The Z is hungry, but each captain passes on lessons to the next. Even if I were to kick the bucket immediately, there would be options of stuff I could carry forward to the next character. Like, even if I just hung out in port till my sailors starved to death, essentially, it wouldn't be much. It'd be something. Well, not to be doing that today, hopefully. Let's pick this guy. He looks like a fresh-faced, good first captain. Oliver. Sounds like an innocent, fresh-faced name. I'll do puns or horrible names later, but let's hold it for now. Your father's bones, a cold trail. Your father lost at sea so very long ago. The trail was cold, but now you have a lead. Mr. John Huffman, editor of the Unexpurged London Gazette. Unexpurgated London Gazette. I'm so sorry. I'm sure someone out there was correcting my pronunciation already. I thank you for your thoughtfulness, but try not to troll in the comments, because think I'm going to be the one YouTube channel I know of that just bans people from the comments for that, because it's really hard to sort through all of them and do that. I want to keep things troll-free, though, as much as I can. And it's pretty obvious when people are doing that. Sometimes it's unintentional. The person just is trying to say something in a light tone, and it comes off mean, because you can't really express tone well online. Sometimes just someone has a little bit of embrace personality, and you could win them around and they'd be nice. But I find people give trollery a little too much of a chance. I'll always explain to the person why, so that they know and can change in the future, hopefully. But, pretty obvious when it happens, and I've noticed a lot of places just are a little too like, oh, there's no way to tell. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're really just joking. It's like, no. You know better. I know better. Everyone knows better. So don't worry too much about getting trolled in the comments. Anyways, Mr. John Huffman, editor of the Unexpurgated London Gazette. He's published your poetry from time to time. 1 week ago, he casually mentioned that your turn of phrase is very like your father's. And here we get the text dumps. This is a story-heavy game. I'm going to try to read them in an amusing way, though. Coffee at Caligula's. Huffman curls his fingers around his steaming cup, protection against the dank cold of the morning. Oh yes, I knew him. A man of some talent, your father. But he turned that talent to, love poetry. Ghostwriting it, if you understand me. As you may know, love poetry draws the attention of a particular power. He glances out of the window. He follows his gaze toward the spires of the Echo Bazaar rise above London. Huffman leans forwards. The masters of the bazaar, he says very quietly, took an interest in your father, so, although I liked him, although I like you, I will need something to set against the risk. Bring me some news. News from the Z. And you want some different stories, and this will be a common thing. Some places you can only trade for things with stories. Some places won't trade you echoes, which is the money in Fallen London. They'll trade you stories for goods, or they'll trade you other trade goods. I like that a lot. I wish that was actually played up a little more in this. I wish it was harder to get some of the standard supplies and fuel farther away from London, and that they'd replace it with other things that were just a little strange or odd, or gave story when you had to use them. Like, you can eat strange catches, and like captured sort of creatures that you get if you get too hungry. And I wish that once you got far enough away from London, there just wasn't normal food available. It was only stuff like that, because that'd be pretty cool. But this game is really deep and atmospheric, and I think it does okay. You can't expect everything from a game. You gotta just be okay with the game being good, you know? This book is really good if you are new, especially, but I'm going to be explaining the stuff that's in it. And sell it, you gain 50 echo. I'm going to say, if you're new playing this, keep it until you're sure. At least read over the headings. That way if something pops up, you can check it. But at the same time, that 50 is nice. You get that back in pretty quick, though. Expurgated Gazette. We'll read a copy of it. News from home. The Echo Bazaar. That enigmatic. No, that's not quite right, is it? Enigmatic marketplace? Even the word is what it is. Making up shit. Excuse my not knowing how to pronounce things sometimes. has increased its tax on love stories. Oh, I was just talking about love stories. The traitor empress has forbidden singing in the street outside her palace. The anarchists of the Calendar Council have inexplicably dynamited a drinking fountain. The Ministry of Public Decency has located and destroyed a nest of gallbladder wasps. So you get little snippets like this, and you sort of have to stitch things together with them, almost, to figure out what's happening in the world. It's actually a really cool location you run into really early that just sort of disappears, it burns. I'm not going to say where it is in case you haven't played. And you're looking not to get spoiled, but there's a engineer you can pick up who has a bit of a storyline that can go there. And if it happens after it burns, it's just, oh, we go there, we dig, we get the story. If it happens before it burns, he says something that sort of, if you combine it with the other things you learn about the place, lets you know what happened. You can sort of figure it out, and it's really cool that way. And here's a bunch of other stuff we can do. Once we get our own house, we'll have a study. We can build special items in there. We can rest, recover, terror, moon, but we don't have either one. That's the townhouse, 1000 echo. We'll do that almost right when we can, because if you buy it and you buy a will, if you die, you come back, you still have a townhouse. And you can make really interesting stuff in there. The London itself, the Admiralty is really important. We can't do much there now. It's where you submit port reports, though, which give you extra money, and it's where you pick up these requests. I'll actually read the text to it once. The Admiralty's picket fleets and intelligence networks are long gone. The survey office pays Z captains a small sum for recent information. So the Admiralty used to have its own intelligent networks, but now it just pays captains to figure this stuff out for them. If there's anything in particular we need, well, we can be assured of your discretion. This port. Speak to your agent there in return. See that you're rewarded. That's just a random place. The Iron and Misery Company funding station. Not far from home waters. It's usually to the southeast, but that can vary quite a bit. And if we ask to speak to a higher authority, it says, survey 3 ports and return to win the Admiralty's approval. And you can talk to the guy actually in charge, and there's different stuff you can trade to him. Oh, and we have our Invictus token. I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. You're in unforgiving mode, which no save slots behind the basic autosave. You lose this token if you switch from unforgiving to merciful mode. There. Echo. Go to the Bazaar. I'm lost the currency of London. The Bazaar shows up a lot, but I've only had one of my crew members even once have a direct deal with the Bazaar. It was kind of a big deal. So it's sort of like the shadowy thing underneath London that really controls how London works a lot. And fuel, coal, and dug from Z-Cliffs or imported from Hell. That's nice. There's little flavor text if you hover over anything. Some of it's interesting. I always forget about that. Everything just turns into cargo in my mind eventually. This way up. Weapons may serve against small monsters or feeble pirates. Yeah. Elderly steeple engine. Battered rusting mechanism that will ensure your ship goes in more or less the correct direction. So we're running a tiny little ship. Could be worse. Something bad happens, and you lose your ship, but you manage to survive, which, that's not going to happen often. What can happen is you end up in the Symphilos class steam launch, which is described as possibly there's a reason you might want to set to Z in a boat the size of the dining room table, possibly. This is what we're in, the mid-range one. Well, no, not mid-range. The very low-range one. Could be worse. But it starts to go up pretty quick. We're gonna skip the Lamphead class cutter and the Orchid class corvette because what we want is this merchant cruiser. The reason we want it is because it has an aft slot. You can get a really, really useful item right away the second you get it. More importantly, it has 120 hull capacity, which means we'll be able to haul a lot of stuff while we're hauling butt around. It's better at combat even because it has hull 300. It has 30 crew, which means we can have 20 more expandable meat chunks with us as we sail around the sea. This is the endgame ship. The one thing I wish with these ships is that there are ships in other ports. There's only one in any other port. It's kinda... By the time you can get it, maybe you won't want it, you know? Well, no, this is far, far, far out of our reach, the Dreadnought. Let's see what else there is in London. We can unlock the university when we have a secret. And that's pretty cool. We have a night free, we can carouse. Maybe find some romance. If you sire a child and they grow up to travel as Z themselves, you get an advantage off that in all your future playthroughs. We gotta hire on some crew for sure. Hire on more crew. Sensible sailors looking for a safe run to the tomb colonies. At least a sane run to the southern archipelago. Need to buy drinks, spread around hiring fees. Look for daredevils. Rich pickings. Your tall tale find a ready audience. Guard and seasoned men and women tramp aboard and find places to sling hammocks. Into crew, Los Zodiaco, this upper passage to the tomb colonists. We'll probably do that in just a second. I want to run out and grab one or two things first. And they're very near waters. How much do we have for our shops? Not enough to do anything, really. Oh, wait. No. No. Can you tell how... Oh, I want that. I've never gotten that. That's such a nice looking engine. I mean to get the magician. Let's get that. I just read the description to it. Shimmering complexes of steel and glass, and serpentine rages, or so the magician claims. That really incentivizes me to find that magician. Maybe that's the point of being able to read that one. Well, we did say we'd be sailing off the northern edge of the map, so let's get a little wild and crazy, right? Yes, a little wild and crazy. Why did you buy all those supplies? Well, we're sailing off the north edge of the map, obviously. I mean, we're going to try to make it back to London afterwards. But we're just going to... Let's charge for it. I've been hanging out in London a little while. Let's do the closest you can to charging in this game, at least. Oh, and while we're sailing, I can show you the officers. Got all these slots for officers. These two guys are just absolute rubbish. Flying navigator, you get him when you're the poet. Competent, probably. Trustworthy? Possibly. Mirrors +1. Be secrets? You can learn a certain number of mirrors from him. But what does he want? You can proposition him too. But nah, I don't like this guy. Z is enough. But now that you mention it, I always had the desire to see Frostbound for no particular reason. The place where Z rises to become a castle, you know, the place where questions and riddles do battle for truth. Sighs dreamily, but he is watching you carefully. Yes, Frostbound. Riding up the north of the map, we might be able to dump this guy off there. We'll either end up at Frostbound, or at another place with more interesting options. Hoping for the other place, but there's nothing wrong with Frostbound, that's for sure. This Hunter's Keep, it's a very friendly, close port. I will give a piece of advice. You can trade news here to get extra events, and you can keep coming here again up to a certain point for supplies. Let's try spying. We're going to try spying on the house. If we fail, we'll still get to do what we want to do here. We'll just have to trade a piece of news to do it. We have 75% of success. A hump of dark rock, swathed in mist, like 100 other Underzee islands. But there's a grand house, windows aglow. Lawns, impossibly green and lush in the false starlight, raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. Oh, and we passed the test, so we can read this. Get a little clue. Piano music drifts across the terrace. You peer through a half-open French window into a grand parlor, grand in size, if a little reduced in style by dust and neglect. A dark-haired, pale-skinned young woman bends earnestly over a piano keyboard. Another, fair-haired but unmistakably her sister, sprawls on the sofa with a book. A third sits by the fireplace, staring sorrowfully into the embers. Soon, she says, and the piano music falters and stops. We'll go hungry, and then the end will come. For me, but not for you. And the pianist raises her eyes from the keyboard. Hush, if we don't speak of it. She frowns. Has she seen you at the window? You withdraw. We'll get fragments, which you can trade by themselves sometimes, but which also, combined, make secrets. Like I said, you can trade secrets to officers, except for your mascot. Controls Ferret. It's an asshole, by the way. You can also raise your stats, and you can also use them other places for useful things, even as a currency in one place. And we'll reconnoiter the island before we present ourselves. Plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, a well tucked away in the fold of the grounds. Anything else? Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The houses are hard in the isle, the house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing's changed, at least. Poor Hunter's Keep. And the Admiralty will be happy about that. They will have heard your ship come in. Why hide? Knock and enter. A maid with smoldering topaz eyes shows you into the parlor where 3 young women wait. A visitor, the youngest cries. The next youngest chuckles. The eldest sighs. Do excuse the indecorum, she says. Visitors are rare. You're very welcome. I'm Cynthia. The noisy one is Phoebe. The cheerful one is Lucy. You're in good time for lunch. Will you join us? Lamp at the prow fizzes arcs. That's actually, you'll find a story when you next make port. You'll receive this from time to time as you travel to Z. The only time I've seen this inside a story event, usually it shows up in the little box at the lower left, and a lantern will appear, and that way you'll know that you can get a special event next time you get into a port that has a special event in it. It does it this way, I think, so you can get the sisters right away, even though they're so close to London. But usually a special event wouldn't have built up. You can lure them out with news, too, if you need to. And we might just do that today. Because each of these sisters give you something special. And I'll show you with Cynthia. I'll show you with the sisters. Cynthia the eldest, melancholy, pensive, occasionally dramatic. You'll only have so many of these before something happens and you don't get any more. It's a little bit randomly determined. So you don't want to click these just for the other benefits. Because this right here, this is the biggest one. And if I go and come back just for these other ones, before I lose that, that's wasting one visit to the sisters. Cynthia grasps your arm and whispers to you. Her eyes are wide and blue. Her hair is wild and tangled. Bats might nest in it. Bats might nest in it. It seems to you that you are sitting on a hillside above a wide blue lake, listening to a story of a murder, an axe, a net, blood on scented water. Another chop? Cynthia asks. You've barely touched your food. Here, I'll have the maid wrap up something for you. You can't be hungry. It's not safe to be hungry. And visiting any of the sisters will set our hunger to 0. Visiting this sister can improve your iron, the attacky, fighty stat. You get a tale of terror from her. You get a little bit of terror. You gain supplies. For many of them, you gain supplies. But each of them also gives you the attention of one of the gods of the sea. And there are ways to lose this by being blasphemous or stupid or being intelligent or sane in some cases, depending on the situation. You can also, at least with the Salt's attention one, spend it on something very useful in one particular location. You can pray to any of them if you run out of fuel and you'll die. You can be becalmed and lost at sea if you don't get fuel. If you do it to Salt, Salt will only ever give you bad results. Because Salt is the god of the sea and of loss and sadness. So, praying to not be in the sea, not experience loss and sadness, is sort of something that isn't going to work with Salt. But the other two, it might. It can save your bacon. So we actually will trade for one more since we don't have those yet. News! Even when the sisters aren't feeling sociable, they can be tempted out of their lair by the smell of new stories. I can wait. You ask the sulphuride maid to carry a few hints of your news to the sisters. Oddly enough, she comes back with a message that their headaches are cured, and you're invited to lunch. Glassy chop of dark water. The ironclad her feet at the hatchway. It's a bit of a toss-up between the two. Lucy, the middle sister. Sunny, restless, prone to giggles. Phoebe, soft-voiced, watchful, unpredictable. I'll go with this one. Here's a story. Phoebe has a story to tell. 2 lovers parted by water, of a raven that carried messages, of a fragment of the moon. She beats time on the table as she speaks, as if to a song only she can hear. The effect is hypnotic. Her attention drifts out through the skylight of the dining room, to the false stars glittering on the roof of the cavern. You drift like a puffball spore. The undersea shimmers below. Islands lie like mineral specimens on black velvet. Ships bob like wood chips between the islands. Vast spine things pulse in the depths. There's a scent like the scent before a storm. The storm came, said Phoebe, quietly. Everything changed. Somewhere in there you've finished the last course. The scowling maid reluctantly serves cheese and bath Oliver biscuits. And now we have Storm's attention as well. The last god is named Stone, and is the god of the roof. And that's what the middle sister gives you. It's worth having all of their attention, even if you can lose it, on rare occasions for not the best reasons. But the Z is rarely fair, as they say. Just remembered something. I forgot a very important bit of cargo before I left London. I'll just swing around back here since it's right back here. I tell you what, if I'm doing this, I can show you the middle sister too quick. And that way you'll get a feeling for what's going on with her. I don't think we'll get another special event before we hit London, but we definitely will before we reach the sister's house again, since we don't have the fastest engine in the world quite yet. Let's see. Anything else I really want to get along here? Well, I'll grab a news. Then maybe if we don't have an event waiting, we'll swing past the sisters again. We can. Ooh! I'm glad we swung back around. This is really good. A little gift. A very fine evening to you, Captain. My, what you might call, mentor, is very fond of adventurous sea captains. He would like to offer you what you might call a dispensation, to confuse so fond of sea captains. Behind the blind bruiser on the dock stands a dray piled high with fuel and supplies. Inquire further. Who's this patron? Is there a catch? An airy wave. He runs a very fine and very liberal establishment just across the river. It is much patronized by sailors and by men of wit and vinegar. Public house, and there is no obligation to speak of. My patron would hope only you might remember him kindly, and I suppose that if the opportunity should arise for you to return his kindness, I do not imagine he would refuse your offer. Yeah, sure, I mean, yeah, why not? It doesn't sound suspicious at all. Yeah. Well, maybe a little suspicious. Oh, you were upscaling men's suspicion. That we have a higher chance of getting searched, but whatever. Pretty on. My patron hopes you find these little gifts to your liking, and he expects that perhaps someday you might choose to call on him at the Medusa's head. Should that day come, we will make you very welcome, give you any safe conduct, what you might require. Good evening to you. He salutes and is gone. Shadowy figure made me an offer, which I accepted. I am perfectly okay with this. Grab news. Ooh, we got supplies for that as well. Canada is threatening war. They always are. London's colonies on the Carnelian coast want independence. They always do. The Underzee, the papers report, has undergone another alteration. Not yet, it hasn't. You'd know. Oh-ho! Promotional coupon from Miss Plenty's Provisioners for a half-cask of salt herring. You could use that. There we go. And we'll grab this guy. This tomb colonist. An immigrant will pay to be taken north to Venderbite. It's oddly difficult to die and fall in London. When a Londoner is too tatty and wretched to live on, they wrap themselves in bandages. Take ship for the tomb colonies. Your crew cart these ones aboard in padded coffins. They'll sleep there until the journey is done, unless they're assholes and come out and eat all your food. If you get the locked chamber, they won't be able to come out and eat your food. Aha. That's a kind of useful ship item for story reasons. But at the same time, there's much nicer ones as well. I couldn't resist doing full power, by the way. Speeding me up for a second. Just until your fuel bar wears down. There's a chance while you're sped up that your engines will explode and you'll get some people dying. My hearts just aren't that high right now, which prevents you from losing crew when that happens. once I get them up, it becomes like an absolute non-issue, because at that point we can... I knew it would happen. That's why I was delaying. Now we don't have to spend news. Lucy. Luncheon with the sisters. Lucy. Lucy, the middle sister. A daft tale. Lucy leans over and whispers to you confidentiality. Confidentially? Whatever. Complex story about a butler, a pig, and an inheritance. You don't follow all the details of the plot, but somehow the pig ends up in an attic and the butler in a vicar's bed. Candles flicker, dishes enter and leave, and the wind butts gently at the window panes. By the time the plum pudding arrives, you're as cheerful as you've been in months. And we got some things. Some supplies. And Stone's attention, most importantly. We could have actually turned in the port report to there at the Admiralty and picked up another one for basically just an extra fuel later. But I didn't want to poke around too much. Up into the fog. Turn off the light. You'll never catch me, Pirate Steam Pinnacle. I could fight you, but I might be badly damaged. It seems like a waste of everyone's time. Full speed. Even with the worst engine in the game, at full power you can outrace anything in the game. Though things with range shots may get a hit or two off at you. There's actually a way you can get unlimited full speed with no explosions once you have the cargo ship. I think is the earliest you can get it. And it's really, really overpowered. You wouldn't even need guns, you could just run away from everything. You've brought this kingdom north. Now what? Trouble with tomb colonists. Days of shrooms and roses. New tomb colonist surveys Vanderbite, shaking her head. It won't do, she says. It won't do at all. A plan. I had no idea this place would be quite so unproposing. Yes. Boring. Yes. Perhaps we can liven it up a little yet. If only I knew a helpful Z captain. Too bad you don't. Don't give me a quest. Pay me. What? You're not going to pay me? You're only going to give me this quest? You're so very annoying. This is a problem. They want wine. They want 10 wine. When we get it, we can join the celebration or not. We will do it. It's an easy way to get a little bit of a something. Really cool. Fun abilities. Rumble, rumble, rumble. We could actually sell them our recent news for 10. And distant storage for 12. We need those for other things. Ooh. I guess while we're here, we should definitely pick up the first curator quest and gather some passports. I'm calling a Vanderbite. On deck, you can hear the sound that bells and bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. Something like the world's most restless concert audience, or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. Visit the fierce curator. Sea captains, the first curator gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colony. It has been here for much longer than London, like all the oldest tomb colonists. But even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Its time is close. First curator's manse. No more light, the obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. Opens the door. You step into near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplighter bees buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There is no other source of light. A bandage shape no larger than a child lies crumpled on the couch. lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. Cynthia whispers request. Easy, Captain. Silkskin. Not much left of me. I'll go into the Grand Sanctorum. Bring me colors. 7 colors. Pay well. 7 colors? Cosmogone, Erigo, Pelican. Stewart has lists. Find them here and there across the wide Black Sea. This is really hard to get, but the rewards for this are worth it. And if we get lucky on a 50-50 chance twice in a row, which 25% chance of that happening total, we can actually get 2 of these immediately after we sail off the north edge of the map, because we're almost there. Accept the commission. Thank you. This poor flesh thirsts for colors. And it gives you a little description of the executive steward, handing you a child's book with all these color names in it. And that's all they are. And they each have a little clue as to where to get them. Like P, found in Pelican, the color of the deepest sea. Someone has scrawled here in the margin. Beyond the gate there is a sea more sunless. And those are all the clues as to where to get these. So there's multiple locations for almost all of them. Maybe I'll do a walkthrough of that one of these times. After I die this time, of course. We're just doing a playthrough right now, learning everything we can. And there's nothing else we want here quite yet. I guess so. Let's just head up north. And we need to be careful at this point, because there are things that can absolutely wreck us coming up. And we need to be full crew, as healthy as we possibly can be when we sail off the top edge of the map, because there will be deaths. We will lose a lot of fuel. We will lose a lot of supplies. That is a living iceberg with a huge amount of HP. I have my lamp off so that it won't see me. They're not very good at spotting you, but if it does, I'm boned. Right, there you go. Oh, and you'll notice as we discover new places, we gain fragments. Really nice. Unless you pick this one specific perk, when you... Actually, let's reverse. I'm so indecisive. Alright. Unless you pick one very specific perk, after you die and come back in, most of the map will be shuffled. And you'll get to regain all those fragments. If you do pick that perk, it won't be shuffled. You'll have your old chart, but you won't get fragments from discovering things. So there's a little bit of important decision weighing there, because you need to have a really good layout for it to be worth it. Oh, wither. Behind the great arch over the bay, the pale waste stretch, white and silent as the face of the moon. For the town, which will use our special event. Yeah, from here you might almost imagine there was snow. Talking about the pale wastes. So it's not snow, it's something else, but it doesn't quite describe what. Explore the town. It is a quiet, chilly town of grey stone and closed courtyards. People are neither exactly unfriendly nor exactly hospitable. Blah, 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 blah. They have the irritating habit of answering a question with a question here and there. There are odd sights tucked away. Oh, and we got one of the pages. so we have a better chance than most people. And it's still not bloody likely. This is... You can get a thing down here at the bottom if your pages are just ungirdly high. But that's only useful really late game. I was tempted to just skip this, but yeah, you know what? Well, 60%. Okay, we'll bet 1 echo on one of the simpler riddles. A contest of riddles. Fisherfolk, sailors, a shady couple of likely pirates, and is that a drowning by the water's edge? Sit around a fire at the sea's edge, passing around a bottle of something viciously back. Or wager on riddles. Will you join them? Okay. And we just lost an echo, but we gained 5 fragments. A whale's eye? Fisherman chuckles and pounds the ground with a fist. City folk crows. City folk pay up. I wonder if I would have kept my special event if I hadn't clicked that. I'll test it next time. And the citizens of Wither enjoy questions, so much so that they always answer a question with another question. This can make intelligence gathering frustrating. So we'll gather intelligence. Are you asking for any particular reason? At what time of day? Is that your hat? Might it be 6? It could be 6. Eventually you cobble together enough implication and supposition to compose a report. And with that, we will be sailing off the edge of the map into the great unknown. Who will scare us, may kill us, and... oh, if we do it without a special event stored up, we will actually risk death. Right? Yeah. So we probably should have skipped that. I figured I'd pop in quick to do something. No matter what, it's pretty much going to eat through our supplies. And we have enough crew for the return trip no matter what. He said with a sinister voice. So let's get a lot of tales of terror. Trading Stygian ivory here for 3 tales of terror. And the tales of terror somewhere else. For other tales, one of the easiest ways to get vast amounts of tales. But you need the cargo ship, and to be really well established for that. I don't want to keep any supplies. No. Starvation is a risk we are willing to accept. And now, of course, there's one of those living icebergs waiting to pound us on our way up and out. I think if we go slow and steady, even though the edge of the world is right up here, we'll have our special event by the time we get there. Oh, crew, so hungry. Wow. This actually makes me a little nervous because we could just die and crash and burn right here. Half rations, hushed voices, tired faces. Encourage them. Isn't the time for rousing speeches, but a quiet word here and there will help. Downcast eyes. Perhaps you shouldn't make that joke about Boil's bat. The sailors take their superstitions seriously. Gain 5 terror, level 10 worry. There's nothing to what we're about to have. Because the crew won't like so many people dying. They won't like the spaceless nothing beyond the edge of the world. We're approaching very, very cautiously. Oh, jeez. Jeez, it's coming. It's coming. On our very next episode. You always have to end on a cliffhanger. I told you. Didn't I tell you? Next time, though, right at the beginning, we're going over the edge and right into action. So hopefully you come back and check that out. This is Grin. I've been your Z Captain tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. People ask for stuff at the end of these. I'm going to say, if you disliked it, especially if you dislike a particular part, I could change. Put a dislike. Tell me in a reasonable tone of voice in the comments. I'll listen. If you liked it, you want more. You liked a specific thing, you want more. Same thing. That's what it's supposed to be for, not for whatever. Everyone knows the only way to get a lot of subscribers is to kill PewDiePie and eat his heart. I've been saying this for years. Nobody ever seems to listen. I will win PewDiePie's heart one day, though. Oh, yes. I will do literally what fangirls dream of doing figuratively. Given that we have zero supplies, the subject of cannibalism is going to also come up next episode. I will see you then, hopefully. Like I said, tell me either way, let me know either way. And I'm definitely keeping this up because I like talking to you. You're a pretty cool person to talk to. We're like wives. Haven't heard a peep from you while I've been over here. Thanks a lot for your time.